Brought to you by GTA, your island, your network.
Who punched who, and was the violence justified? According to prosecutor Thomas Newman, those are the only issues for the jury to decide.
It will be up to you, all you jurors, to determine two things in this case. Number one, that in the early morning hours of October 22nd, 2016, these three defendants, Mr. Joven Santos, Mr. Christian Medina, and Mr. Liberty Conception, committed assault against victims at Linda's Cafe. And the second thing that it will be up for you to determine is whether or not these three defendants were justified in using violence either to defend themselves or to defend others.
Attorney David Lujan represents all three defendants. He proposed a different scenario to jurors, that his clients fell victim to violence and were merely trying to protect themselves. In opening statements on Thursday, he says Liberty Conception was brutally beaten outside, evidenced by his bloodied face, and that his friends, now as co-defendants, came to his rescue. One of the aggressors' defense alleges was Richard Regadio.
The evidence will show the Agat boys were not troublemakers that night. The evidence will show they were not the instigators. But the evidence will show that Mr. Regadio, decided to cooperate not only against Joven Santos, but against the two friends he was with that night, and that's J.C. White and Alfred Castro. And the evidence will show that Mr. Regadio got himself a sweetheart deal.
Just last week, Regadio entered a plea agreement in connection to the death of his friend, Brian Cruz, and will spend no time behind bars. Although unrelated to the Linda's Cafe incident, Cruz was allegedly knocked unconscious earlier that night by J.C. White. Alfredo Castro was also implicated as he assisted in placing Cruz in the back of the sedan. The men then drove to Linda's Cafe to eat, where they encountered trouble, and police found Cruz in the back of a car. Earlier today, Enrique Duenas entered a plea agreement for the Linda's Cafe riot. He pleaded guilty to a single charge of aggravated assault as a second-degree felony. His plea deal outlines a sentence range from 45 to 100 days imprisonment in exchange for his cooperation. According to attorney Lujan, although Duenas is now a witness for the government, his testimony will still prove in favor of the defense, who allege self-defense was justified that night. Trial will resume on Friday morning, where surveillance footage will be presented to jurors. Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Crystal Paco.
Brought to you by GTA, your island, your network.